Hey, it's Bryan from FXBilliards. The video you're about to watch is about your 8-ball end game play. But we take a totally different approach on this, and I show you why your end game fell apart because of what you did earlier in the game. So sit back, watch the video, listen to the voiceover, and you're going to be a better player in 15 minutes than you are right now. So let's get going.
Okay, gang, this is not a video about breaking, but notice how I keep my tip down here. We have a number of videos on breaking and how to break 8-ball racks. One of the key things, though, if you want to run racks, get a better breaks. And if your cue tip is up in the air at the end of your break, you need to learn to keep your cue tip down on the table. Even if it's just 6 inches in the air, that's energy that is not going into your break. So as we look into some of the reasons players don't run out, here's a perfect example. You have to get on your problem shots early in the rack. Take a look at this 10-ball. A lot of players don't even recognize this as a problem shot. They say things like, oh, I could get on that later in the rack. Of course you can. Everybody can get on that 10-ball later in the rack. But if that becomes your key ball at the end of the rack, meaning the ball that you're going to shoot right before or right before the ball before the 8-ball, think about how difficult it's going to be to get from that 10-ball to the 8-ball at the end of the rack. This is just one example of many reasons players are not running out in 8-ball. So we get ourselves in position now to play that 10-ball, get it off the table while the table is target rich, and we don't have to worry about it at the end of the rack. We shoot a little draw shot here, get on to 13, and getting around the rest of the table is going to be a little challenging, but certainly doable. There is a mistake coming up right here that you might not identify, and I'm going to lay it out for you very simply. We should be playing this 13 to get on this 14 in order to shoot a combination shot. You'll see why in a second. Now, it's not very obvious until you think about this later in the rack, but I'm getting on the 9-ball here to connect me to some other balls. The problem is I have the 15 that I just pointed at, and I also have the combination. The combo makes sense because it plays the 14 into the 11. If I shoot it really well, I can not only leave the 14 sitting in the pocket, which I know a lot of you try to do, and it's probably not a good idea for most players to engage in, but I do manage to keep the 14 in the pocket and at the same time get on the 15. This is not a shot that's as easy as it looks. I know a lot of you have tried to do that. It's not easy, let's just say, to leave that combination in the pocket. But from the angle I shot it, the way I had to shoot it, it was. But here's where all hell breaks loose. Because of my shot selection, I got on the 15, but then I was left with this shot. Now, this shot would be no problem except for one thing. I have to inch past this 8-ball in order to get to the 14, which means I can't do a lot of things with my cue ball. No long draw shots, no multi-rail position, not many things I could do to get on this 8. And as a result, I am in the pocket, making a rail bridge in the pocket, shooting all the way down table on the 8-ball. And as a result, I missed a shot down table on the 8-ball. Let's take a look at a little bit more successful rack and see what mistakes were avoided, what moves were made, what things helped us run out here. This arrow is showing you the 12-ball. You can see the 11-ball is right in front of the pocket. And unfortunately, so many players are taking that 11 in the side pocket first. That's a run killer. The reason it's a run killer is because getting on this 12-ball, even though quite possible, is more difficult than players realize, because of its relationship to the 1-ball, and the fact that we need to get back down table to end this rack because we're working one end of the table and then the other. So if we don't play the 12 ball, we're in a lot of trouble. So we have a nice pattern here that allows us to get the balls at the other end of the table, but we still have a crowded table, and this is another reason players don't run out. You see here we play a nice 2-rail position off of that previous shot, and we run into the 1 ball. But that's okay, because we did something very special that a lot of people miss. We left insurance shots down table. I'm going to be on any of these 3 balls at the other end of the table if something bad happens. So now we play the 13, and we have a unique key ball situation because that's our key ball. And not everyone is going to have this shot in their game to get on that key ball. But our K2, we're playing this shot with low left-hand English. We're drawing the cue ball back to the spot where you just saw the arrow, and that should put us on the 10 ball so that we can run out. So low left-hand English, we come off of 2 rails. We get pretty perfect on this 10 ball. We're just going to draw this back to the spot exactly where we are now, and we'll be straight in on the 8. And that's our run. So that run really depended on us doing a couple things. Getting that first shot that a lot of players might have passed on, and then working one end of the table while we still had insurance balls, which allowed us to make a mistake and still recover and run out the rack. So we're going to play the second side of the rack here. We'll pretend our opponent missed the 8 ball. You see this one problem shot, I think that's the 7 ball. We have our 2 key balls, potential key balls here, the 1 and the 5. The reason I say potential key balls is because I'm looking at a pattern now that requires the use of one of those balls to get down table, because my priority right now, what I like to call my shot of primary interest, is that 7 ball. So that's the result of playing high right-hand English to get on this 7. And because I got so straight on the 7, I'm going to now use the 5 to connect me with the 4. But there's something special going on here. Do you see it? The 4 is connected to the 5, which is our key ball. So the 4 is actually from here a natural K2. K2 is, remember, the ball that you shoot before you shoot your key ball. So now we can just stun this in, cross over the rail, bounce back out. We're on the 8 ball. Easy peasy, it's a wrap. So even when the table is empty, you want to play good patterns. You want to pay close attention. And even though that run was not affected by the early part of the rack so much, you should be looking early in the rack to see how you're going to be playing your balls, assuming your opponent misses. Let's take a look at another rack here. First thing you need to do, obviously, is decide which balls you want. The highs, the lows, the stripes, the solids. Now, notice one thing, though. This is something I don't see enough players doing. Walk around the table. It sounds simple, but your perspective on these shots totally changes just being on one side of the table versus the other. So we decide on the stripe balls here for a couple reasons. They're not being blocked. I can see the path to running out. There's not a bunch of clusters or issues on the table. So even though the solids look wide open, I can already visualize the run out for the stripes. But I do call an audible about 2 shots from now. So I know I want to play a draw shot on this ball and clear out the balls that are right in the middle of the table other than what I might use as a key ball. So a little draw shot there, and now I have my choice. Is the 9 my key ball, or is the 10 my key ball? But something came up, a shot of opportunity. That is the 13 ball. Now the problem with the 13 ball is I've got to shoot a pretty good shot here, and I don't. So I end up getting a little behind that 6 ball, but I have recovery shots, right? The reason we go for those shots that are going to be difficult early in the rack is because now I have this recovery shot. So yes, I have to make a hero shot here cut shot over in the corner with draw to bounce off the rail to get on the 9 ball. But I left that shot on the table, played the 13, and as a result, if you remember the end of the last rack, the result, having insurance shots made all the difference. Now you saw 2 arrows hit the table. The first arrow showed you where I did not want to be on this ball, and the second arrow shows you where I need to be on this ball. This is very subtle because a lot of intermediate players just don't understand being on the correct side of the ball. But if I was in location 1 where you saw the first arrow, then I never get the angle that I need to get on the 8 ball and make it an easy run out.
Hey there, ready to elevate your pool game? Whether you're moving from intermediate to advanced or you're aiming to become a local legend, we've got you covered. Join us for exclusive in-person lessons, master classes, and personalized Zoom sessions. This is your chance to experience the magic with tailored coaching from Bryan, no matter where you are, even if you don't have a pool table at home. So why wait? Sharpen your fundamentals, master strategic play, and boost your mental game. Visit FXBilliards.com now to learn more and take the next step in your pool journey. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like, leave a comment, and subscribe to FX Billiards for more tips and tricks.